Hey everybody, this is Everyday Commentary, and this is a little explanation of what I like to call dual fuel lights. So these two lights are both in the 1AA format, but they're really quite different. One is the FWAA, and the other is the Zebralight SC5C2 limited edition. One runs exclusively on these lithium-ion batteries, and the other can run on lithium ion, it can run on nickel metal hydride, and it can run on primaries. I would not recommend using a lithium ion in this. It's not going to boost your output in any way, and they're just more risky than the nickel metal hydride batteries. So let's talk about why it's a big deal to be what I like to term a dual fuel light. Now, there are a few lights out there, and I own one, the Streamlight, that is actually a dual format light. It will take both a AA battery and an CR123A battery. So you can actually run two different kinds of batteries as opposed to two different types of batteries in that flashlight. What I'm talking about is a little different. What I think is a great feature for all lights to have is the ability, if necessary, to run on the equivalent sized primary battery. Now let's talk a little bit about batteries. I'm not a huge battery person, so I'm just going to give you a brief overview, but there are generally two kinds of batteries. There are what are called primaries, which are non-rechargeable batteries, and rechargeable batteries, like these two batteries in front of you. Most batteries are of one of two chemistry types: nickel metal hydride, which is this battery over here, or lithium ion, which is this battery over here. Generally speaking, the lithium ion batteries have a higher capacity and a higher output. In other words, they can put out more lumens. The nickel metal hydride batteries are more stable, and they're a little less expensive, although really now the costs have come down on the lithium ions. That's no longer much of an advantage. But the big deal is this light can only run on this battery. This light can run on this battery, or a primary. Again, I don't recommend running this light with one of these batteries, but you can do it if you have to, because I just did it. This light can run on any AA sized battery you will find. And that means that if you're in an emergency scenario, like you have a power outage and your rechargeables aren't charging because the charger doesn't work, you can go to the store and you can buy a battery that will run this light. So in my mind, that's a huge advantage, because while most of the time you're going to use the rechargeable because it's cheaper, you get a better output. If you're pressed and you have no choice, instead of going without any light like this light can actually keep going and run on a AA battery. That is a huge, huge benefit. Now, there are a couple of lights that can do this, and whenever they can do this, I'll note it in the review. But the big thing for me is that these lights are offering not much of a compromise. So like, for example, I think the output on this light is something like 600 out the front lumens, which is a lot. That's a ton. But the output on this light with the rechargeable is 475 lumens. Now, that is obviously a big number difference. But again, because lumens are perceived logarithmically, there is very little chance that you will be able to tell, let's see, the difference between these two lights. In fact, if you look at it, I think this light appears brighter, and that's obviously not the case. But you're not going to see an appreciable difference in the output in terms of lumens, but you are going to be capable of flexing into a different kind of battery, which makes a huge difference. Couple of warnings. Not all lights that can accept primary batteries are going to be able to do this, where they can switch from the primaries for convenience and availability and the rechargeables for runtime and output. The Zebralight, this light represents one of the very best AA battery format flashlights you can find, because it really does give you basically everything you would need in a flashlight. It gives you the output, the runtime, the availability. You get a lot of stuff, which is why this light is such a good light, and a light I'm quite looking forward to reviewing. But a lot of the lights will say, like, they run that, but they won't accept the higher voltage output from the lithium ion. So you can't do the, flexing that you could with this light. And then there are lights like this light where you get that really high end, but you can't flex down into the available cell. So if you think about it, you're getting basically no real output difference between these two lights. You're getting like a minor size difference in favor of the FWAA, but you get a huge upgrade in terms of availability, and in this case, you'll see the build quality. I mean, the threading is better, the wall thickness on the light is better. I mean, this is just a better all-around light, in my opinion, than something like the FW3. I mean, you can see right there, like, this light has like a sleeve setup, so not a huge fan of sleeve setups. If you need to run it to make the circuit work, that's fine, but you could also just do that, but this is more expensive. So in all, I think that it's something that you should consider, and I think it's something that makes a light better. If you have the option of flexing down into primaries, then you should take it. If you don't, you're kind of limited, and this light will work great for flashlight geeks, but when the storm knocks out power for 5 days, this light's going to be dead, and this light's still going to be useful. So this is just a little talk about dual fuel flashlights.